Here, Mark Farley retired yesterday, or announced his retirement, I should say. He's a football coach. I doubt he ever truly, really retires. But kudos to him. He's had a great career. It's been fun to watch. I don't necessarily know him all that well personally, but have seen his work and seen what he's done not only for his program but also in the state of Iowa. So kudos to him. A couple things about us where we are special teams wise. This year, we just finished week 10 of the season. And there's been some really good things and some things that not so good, some inconsistencies, some things that we're continuing to work on. Again, some highs, some lows, some things that we need to continue to teach upon. But overall, happy with the guys. I think guys are working hard, trying hard. It isn't a lack of effort or anything like that. It's more just consistency, and those are things we're focused on improving on. That being said, any questions you guys have, happy to answer.
Start with John in the front row.
John Steppe, the Gazette.
John.
So first of all, I think you go, was it 8 years without giving up a punt return touchdown, and now you've given up 2. Kind of, what do you attribute those to, and kind of what gives you optimism that can stay at 2 and not be any more than that?
Yeah, definitely. First off, history would suggest that less than or not going more than 2. That's one thing. But it's definitely disappointing, discouraging at some points. And I've got a lot of pride. I've been around this program a long time. I wasn't quite sure when it had happened or when the last time was, but I knew it had been a long time since I'd seen it. But I attribute it to a couple things. One, inconsistency with the punt location, and then 2 is inconsistency in the coverage. And those are things that we need to improve upon and teach upon and continue to learn from. I think the guys are doing that, and you're not letting our guard down. I think we've done that. So again, those are things that we just got to continue to coach and continue to preach and work on. But definitely not fun at all.
Chad.
Hey, Chad. Nice to good morning.
Hello, Chad.
Yeah,
good to
nice to meet you. We've had, it seems like anyway, for sure Ohio State was a situation where you had a fake punt call and Kirk called timeout. Can you explain kind of the process? Are you like in his ear? Does he see that? And also, can you speak to what happened the other day? Because you guys burned an early second half timeout on a punt that you really could use later. Just curious what happened.
Yeah, which you're talking about both, or?
Well, let's start with the UCLA game.
Yeah.
I mean, what happened there on that punt, and then rewind to the Ohio State game. Are you telling him, hey, we don't want to run it, or is that his call?
First off, I don't tell Coach Ferentz anything.
Okay.
Other than I make suggestions. I know where I'm at on the pecking order. So it's obviously it's ultimately his call, his decision. But we're talking about Saturday. It's really nothing more than just trying to make sure we see things that we see. I also think Coach was trying to talk to the official about something that happened on that play previous. So it had nothing to do with the fake or anything like that. You'd be trying to give away my trade secrets there, Chad, and I don't want to do that in front of the microphone. But you go back to Ohio State. There's definitely certain situations where you like things better than others and like looks better than others and whatnot. But ultimately, it's Coach's decision. I make suggestions when hey, we like this player or don't like this play, and just keep playing and keep moving forward. But I do like the result that we called the timeout, and because the punt wasn't great, but the second, the redo on the punt was a lot better and fair catch and all that stuff. So it's a good ball by Rhys, good snap by Luke, and good protection and coverage.
Scott.
Scott Dockman with The Athletic. Hope you're doing well.
Hey, Scott. Great to see you.
Great to see you, too. I wanted to ask a recruiting question. You're a prolific recruiter, you're all over the place. This year is completely different with the early signing period, no off-campus recruiting, which I'm sure frees up your December like you never had before. What kind of adjustment is this for you, both at this very time, this very week, and then how you're going to approach December and evaluating future potential players?
It's funny you bring that up because literally I just came out of a staff meeting about 15 minutes ago where that was brought up, and I didn't realize that you can't go out at all in December. I thought it was the window was just shorter. But what it's going to do, I think, will allow us to be more with our team here. Not as soon as the season ends, as soon as the last game, you take a day off and you go out on the road. You don't see your own team for 2 weeks. So I think that'll help us in that regard, be around our guys that are here currently. I think the transfer portal window's changing a little bit. So it allows us to be with our team and coach our guys, which is ultimately what we're trying to do, right? Is make the best team possible and be here for the players that are here. Now recruiting, you're always going out trying to find the next person to add to the class or add to the group. But I always feel like when you go out this time of year, you're leaving something back at home with the guys that you bled with all year, that you worked with all year. So I think it'll be nice to actually be with those guys, continue to help them through bowl prep and through bowl practice, and things like that. I know I won't be taking a trip to Australia this December.
David Eichel, HawkeyeInsider.com. LeVar, appreciate your time. Rhys has had a up and down years, had some tremendous games, had some punts I'm sure he and you would like back, but you know, going back to Tory Taylor's freshman year, he kind of rode the same boat, both being from Australia. Is there anything that you learned while coaching Tory through his first year, whether it be about culture, whether it be about football, that you've kind of applied to teaching Rhys, or are they two totally different situations? Because again, one's 24 and one's a 19-year-old kid. And I guess how have you kind of helped him ride the highs and lows of just adjusting to America and the way you guys do things around here?
Yeah, I think the easy thing is to compare the two, right? Compare the two, but I think really the comparison stops where they're both from Australia. They both punt footballs. Both of them come here at different stages in their maturation, physical and emotional maturation, also age, right? Both of them come here. The comparison that you could make is neither one of them really knows the sport of football, college football. But I do feel like, and both guys are coming in different times and stages of their life. I do feel like each and every game, Rhys gets better and understands the game of football better, and understands the significance of his role and what he does each and every game. And I think that's something to build upon. I think that's going to be a strength for him as he gets older. Like right now, that's not a strength for him. His first game he ever saw was the one he played in. You think about that, right? The first game he ever saw, he was in, and he was the punter, at Iowa. So that's a big deal. And but I do feel like each game he's gotten better. You referenced some highs, for Rhys. What was the game? I think it was in Northwestern, where he went out and had 4 punts inside the 6. Like, man, I love Tory Taylor. Tory Taylor's fantastic. I don't remember seeing Tory do that 4 times. And I think we all see what he's done since he was here, and then now off of the Bears, and which he is punting more than he was told he was going to punt, which is interesting to see. However, back on task, I think the sky's the limit for Rhys. I think he's a young guy figuring it out. I think each and every game he gets better. Each and every day he gets better. Just need to focus on consistency.
Elliot.
Hey, LeVar, Elliot Fluff, Hawkeye Beacon, but mentioning consistency a few times with Rhys and talk about the highs and the lows and stuff like that, like David just mentioned. I guess how do you curb that and make it a little bit more consistent, or is that just something that grows with maturity and reps and just kind of something you have to be patient with? Yeah,
I think a little bit of both. You do have to have patience, right? You do have to have growth and maturity. You also have to have consistency with your fundamentals. And the sport of football, regardless of position, it really comes down to fundamentals. You've probably heard that 1,000 times here. It sounds cliche, but it's not. It's the truth. And you look at any great punter, any great specialist in the pro level right now, which we do often, right? We'll study guys, we'll watch them, we'll see, what do you see? Oh, he's got a great leg. Oh, this is a great kick. Well, how did that happen? You look at the consistency of the fundamentals. Like, okay, his footwork is correct, his hands are correct, right? How he drops the ball is consistent over time. And if you do that enough times, you'll like the results. I think Rhys is seeing that right now, and not only Rhys, but all the guys in our room are seeing that right now, where the consistency of the fundamentals either pays off or there's detriment to it. And so that's what we're focused on right now.
He's been featured quad state times. Not to ask you a third straight question about Rhys, but